Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the January State TA Day webinar. We have a very busy schedule, so we're probably just going to jump right into it. I want to introduce my coworker sleeping here. This is Howard. All right, so I'm going to hand it over to Sarah Roberts and our fabulous coaching team here to give us some updates on coaching, on all the fabulous things they've been doing. All right, Sarah.
All right, are we looking at my screen now?
Yes.
Great, wonderful. All right, well, so we're just gonna dive in because I'm sure everyone has just as many wonderful things to talk about as we do. So thank you for letting us spend some time with you today. We're really excited to share that last Friday, we launched the reframed coaching competencies that will now be used to guide the Colorado Shines coaching credential. And these set of competencies have been developed to go along with that. So I'm going to give some background about where we are and how we got to where we are, and then Dusty and Carolyn are going to talk about the actual competency set. So as you may know, in the spring of 2007, representatives from various early childhood education coaching initiatives across Colorado began meeting monthly with the goal of gaining a better understanding of the scope and nature of early childhood coaching projects across the state. In addition, the group wanted to explore how a common set of principles or standards for coaching and a more systematic professional development opportunities for coaches might support our work and promote stronger outcomes for our coaching efforts. This group became known as the Coaching Consortium. In a day-long session in December of 2007, a group of coaches, program supervisors, and other representatives from diverse coaching initiatives joined with the consortium members to begin crafting the definition of coaching and a set of coaching competencies for early childhood field in Colorado is formed. Using business and life coaching competencies developed by the International Coaching Federation as a springboard, this group completed an in-depth analysis of skills and dispositions required for effective professional development coaching within the early childhood educators seeking to provide high-quality services for children and families, which provided an important foundation that has been built upon with each revision. Coaching consortium members then took the results of this day's work and synthesized them into the Colorado Early Childhood Coaching Competencies. So in the past 10 years since that time, and since the original creation of this set of competencies, there has been changes to the overall understanding of early childhood coaching practices, including a more diverse workforce and more diverse communities. With the reframed set of coaching competencies created again by a group of coaches, program supervisors, and other representatives of all the different diverse coaching initiatives in 2021, this set offers opportunities to innovate what coaching looks like across the state, understanding the unique needs of the individual communities while respecting their strengths and valuing the need to increase the equity perspective, reflecting on the current thinking and reflecting the current thinking within the coaching communities. We also understand that competencies are ever changing, and as the early childhood coaching field learns more about what matters most, and our professional setting change. So the way we talk about competencies change as well. So that brings us to the Colorado competencies for early childhood coaches. This set of coaching competencies are designed to serve as the key guide to coaching as professional discipline and adult learning strategy within the early childhood field. This group collaborated over 8 months to identify the lenses, domains, and competencies and starter indicators that are necessary to engage in a foundational and ongoing coaching process. As we've reframed the coaching competencies to reflect recommended and evidence-based practices, we considered the coaching cycle, the skills that the coaches take on their journey, and the importance of competencies as a foundation for new and experienced coaches. These competencies are designed to be used interactively. By aligning the domains, competencies, and indicators and lenses, early childhood coaches can provide the most impactful support for their coaching partners. It is an adjustable dial and that they can modify to use in their work, since it's to make different changes and discoveries. Coaching partners may work with the tool to support shared remembering, understanding, and applying the information, as well as to evaluate, analyze, and to create, especially to create new indicators. So we're going to share the link to the competencies in the chat. Thank you, Carolyn. And so these are the competencies that are also now posted in PDIS. And so if you're looking for information about the coaching certificate, these will be the ones that are now reflected. You want to go, Carolyn?
I sure am ready to take everybody for a spin around the outer dial of the lenses. So the competencies lenses are systems, first of all, that an early childhood coach can use the systems lens to recognize the pieces, the whole, and the complex interactions among diverse networks in the early childhood field. And these are all things which influence outcomes for their coach partner, for children, and for families. Examples of that are parent-child interactions, family systems, the child care system, state legislative policy and mandates, and many other systems that I'm sure are coming into people's minds. The data lens is a lens used by an early childhood coach to introduce and analyze many sources and types of information, and to ensure that the coach and their partner make decisions in the best interests of children or a child based on their analysis of this data. And examples of those include direct observations, videotape observations and reviews, journal reflections, can include anecdotal data or formal data that's collected by a norm referenced tool. The equity lens is used by coaches to emphasize the inclusion of groups that have been historically marginalized and underserved, to surface unique perspectives of all of those involved, and consistently adjust their interactions, the ones that are under their control, to improve outcomes for children and families. And examples of the use of this lens include inclusion of culturally and linguistically diverse learners and assuring their success, inclusion of children with identified challenges, and diverse disabilities. And Sarah, I think, yeah, then we move one notch inside the outer envelope, the outer dial of the lenses to the competencies themselves. To the competency domains. And so the domains include relationships, reflection, and inquiry. And within relationships, coach partners engage in healthy relating when they share power and communicate without judgment. Coach partners value the dignity of themselves, their partner, and their work together, and they're respectful to one another in that ongoing relationship. And as they co-create accountable plans and goals, they are also fostering mutual trust and transparency with one another. In reflection, coach partners are engaged in healthy reflective practice when they contemplate beliefs, values, processes, as well as content-specific knowledge. Coach partners value an active, exploratory, and open attitude that considers the strengths, challenges, and potential implicit bias, and the feedback that are all involved in training and experiential learning. As these partners co-create continuous cycles of reflection, they enhance their willingness to share and receive feedback from one another and change or improve their practices based on their reflections. And finally, within the inquiry domain, coach partners are engaged in healthful inquiry when they articulate what they are curious about and investigate further with openness to the possibilities. Coach partners value the spirit of inquiry and the joy of increasing competence. As they engage together in discovery processes, they embrace and foster creativity and acknowledge that resolution brings clarity to both the coach and the coach partner. And Dusty, I pass it to you to talk about the competencies and indicators.
Thank you. Okay, the competencies. We're going to start with joint planning. The coach and coach partner use a reciprocal process to equally contribute ideas and information. Together, they decide how to put the ideas and information into practice. Communication. The coach and coach partner engage in interactions to understand and respond in a meaningful way. Shared power. The coach and coach partner work from a strengths base and recognize their own and each other's unique perspectives, biases, experiences, skills, beliefs, cultures, and identities. Coaching awareness. The coach and coach partner engage in reflection so that each may become increasingly aware of their individual outlook and its potential impact to themselves and others. Using their growing awareness and continuing to reflect, they increase their ability to self-regulate. And finally, growth and outcomes. The coach and coach partner work to increase self-efficacy and outcomes in practice that improve learning experiences for children. And back to you, Sarah.
So that is our new reframed set of coaching competencies. And these will now guide all of the professional development that the state is offering for around coaching. And we do have a lot of professional development for coaches right now. We have coaching office hours that are every Wednesday from 2 until 3. And this can be for any coaching questions a coach or someone working with coaches might have. We currently now have 2 communities of practice. One is on the first Tuesday of every month, and the second is on the second Wednesday. We are offering relationship-based professional development. We have one starting in February. Pretty sure that class is full, but we have another one starting in March, and I think there's still some space in that. And then Christine will be offering reflective supervision and consultation also in March through May. So if anyone has any questions or would like to, or has anyone that needs to sign up for those classes, please reach out and let us know. And then we will also be presenting specifically on this new competency set at the Rocky Mountain Early Childhood Conference. So if you have any coaches that would like to learn more about that, please join us at the Confidence and Competence in Coaching using the Colorado Coaching Competencies. If you have any questions around coaching credential initial requirements or for renewing your requirements, Christine Bauer from our ID team is offering coaching credential support help. The next one is on February 3rd from 3 until 4, and you can come and join, and we'll walk through the process of how to apply for the coaching credential and answer any questions that anyone might have about applying and renewing and anything that just might not be working in that system, so we can help figure it out. If you have any questions, please reach out and email us. Also, we are doing focus groups specific to the competencies. So if you have any coaches that would like to come to our focus groups and provide feedback or give us some more understanding, we would greatly appreciate that as well. And we could share the link in the chat to that too. If anyone has any questions, please let us know.
Thank you all so much. I'm not seeing any questions pop up so far. I will be, as always, I'm going to be emailing out these presentations and the YouTube link to the recorded webinar. So, people will be able to review it and then get in touch with you as questions come up.
All right. Thank you. That sounds great.
Cool. Thank you so much. So I'm going to hand it over to Grace Eckel, who's going to give us an ARP update. All right, here you go. All right, Grace, you should be able to share. We're seeing a teal background. We also can't hear you. It doesn't look like you're muted.
Hear me now?
Yes, perfect. We can hear you and we can see
the slides.
Yes, everything is working out.
Thanks for all of your patience. So hi, Grace Eckel. I'm the Senior Policy Advisor for the Office of Early Childhood, and I'm joining you today to give you an update on our ARP Early Childhood Stimulus. So the first update I wanted to cover is our Stabilization Grant Program. So as you all are likely aware, we successfully launched our Child Care Stabilization Grant on last Friday, January 21st. We have some exciting key data points to share out. To date, we have had more than 2,000 applications that have been completed. So that means that about 45% of our total eligible childcare providers applied within the first week of the application opening. And just want to say a really big thank you to all of you as our partners in this launch. We know that it really has taken a statewide effort to get us to where we are today. In total, this means that about 90 million of our child care stabilization grant has been approved for eligible child care providers, which they'll ultimately receive over 9 months of payment. Just want to flag an important date reminder. Providers should apply by tomorrow, January 28th, in order to be included in the first round of payments that will go out by February 11th. So if you're able to make a push on that date, that would be wonderful so that we can get money out to providers that really need it. As a reminder, the child care stabilization grants will be paid out over 9 months of equal payments. The application, as I mentioned, opened on Friday, and it is rolling, so providers can apply anytime between now and September 30th of 2022. The eligibility for these grants is all open and licensed or CCAP qualified exempt child care providers that were in operation as of March 11th, 2021. We do have an allowable uses guide at this point, which I'll share on our next slide. And we're referring providers to that document for determining how they can spend these funds. We also will have a monthly attestation process for providers that receive these funds in order to continue to receive the funds. We plan to announce what information will be included in each monthly attestation form prior to the grant funding going out on February 11th, so that providers know what will be expected for them to report in the coming weeks. So you all are a key resource as we launch and send money out to providers through these stabilization grants. We are here to support you in that process and also have a few key resources for you all to reference and share out with providers. The first is our early childhood stimulus website. It's coecstimulus.com. That has information on our child care stabilization grants and also has information on some of our other funding and service opportunities. We also have created a number of provider resources for them to access, including allowable uses of the funds, a preview of the application, an application guide, award amounts, and payment schedule. And that can be accessed through our website and also this provider resources folder link. We also have an FAQ document that we update regularly as we get questions and have more information to share. As you get questions from providers that maybe are a bit more tricky to answer, we recommend that they create a help desk ticket through that help.coecstimulus.com. Our vendor partner Metrics IQ is working around the clock to respond to those help tickets within 48 hours. So very responsive and the best source of information. or they can also call in for assistance. We ask, as I mentioned, that you all help spread the word. We've created a social media toolkit for our partners to provide information out to childcare providers in the community on this opportunity. So we have a social media toolkit, and we just created a post that reminds providers about the application date of tomorrow in order to be in that first payment of February 11th. And have also shared that on our OAC social media pages if it's easier for you all to go on and reshare that either through Facebook or Twitter. So that covers it on the Child Care Stabilization Grants. I know you all have been eager to learn more about our Circle Innovation Grants, so I wanted to provide an update for you on that. So we are thrilled to announce that Early Milestones has been selected to administer the Circle Innovation Grant Program. They will provide wraparound technical assistance to providers, community partners, government entities. Certainly early childhood councils would be eligible to apply for these funds. And they'll be working to create communities of practice around innovations that are addressing similar challenges in the state. We expect that the first application will open at the end of February, and more information will be available on our website, that coecstimulus.com link as it's available. But wanted to give you a preview of some movement on this, and really excited to be partnering with Early Milestones for this work. Down at the bottom is just a reminder of what the Circle Innovation Grants are. It is, and I've also linked to our access overview documents with more information on that. And then the next update that I wanted to share is on our licensing incentive bonus and our quality improvement bonus. As you all may be aware, we have certain opportunities for additional funding beyond the Child Care Stabilization Grants. This includes a bonus payment for providers that increase their quality level, and also those that become licensed or CCAP qualified exempt. For those providers, they may become eligible as well for the Child Care Stabilization Grants, as long as they were in operation on March 11th. We understand that it has been a somewhat of a challenging process to understand who is eligible for what, given some of the funding having the March 11th date and others not. So we put together a flow chart. This is an initial draft, and I would welcome feedback either through this opportunity or later on, but I just wanted to give you a preview of a resource that we're creating to help our partners and our internal teams navigate who's eligible for what based on certain criteria. So essentially it starts with the question of whether the provider was in operation as a licensed CCAP qualified exempt FFN or licensed exempt childcare program on or before March 11th. From there, it follows a series of yes/no questions that ultimately take the user down to what that individual provider or program is eligible for. We currently have this flow chart including both the stabilization grants and also the two bonus opportunities, the licensing incentive and the quality improvement. I would say that the biggest difference between the two bonuses is that the licensing incentive does not have the March 11th date for needing to be in operation, whereas the quality improvement bonus does. So I know that these slides will be shared out afterwards. This is probably a lot to read through, but if you have the opportunity to read through and have any feedback on it for us, we would certainly welcome that, as we want it to be the most useful tool. So that takes me through the ARP stimulus update. I'll pause and see if there are questions, and also always happy for follow-ups by email after as well.
Thanks, Grace. We do have a few questions that came in, so maybe we'll just go through them together. So a few people have asked, is there a way to know who's applied? Is there like a list that ECCs can access so they know who to recruit or who to support if they haven't applied yet?
That's a great question. So our vendor partner is collecting that information and has identified programs that have not yet applied. And pretty soon we'll start doing one-on-one outreach to those providers. I think that the suggestion of offering that list to councils to also do that outreach is a great one, and I'll be sure to pass that along.
Cool. All right. And then there was a question, is there enough funding allocated so that all programs who are eligible will receive the reward, or is it first come, first serve? It sounds like that it's everyone who is eligible, there'll be enough funding for them, correct?
That is correct. So all providers are entitled to this 9 months of payment, regardless of when they apply, as long as they apply before that September 30th of 2022 date.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And then it was asked, do the 9 months have to be consecutive? Like, should all programs that run August till June wait until August to apply? Or would they be able to receive funding from January to June and then August to October? Like, could they take a break in the payments when they're not in operation?
So programs have to be open and providing care to children at the time of their application. So for example, if there's only if a program only runs during the summer months, they would only be able to apply once they are open for those months. As part of the monthly attestation, they would have to continue to certify that they were open. Providers can be closed temporarily due to COVID or financial hardship. But for those programs that have a set schedule of only the summer months, they'd only be eligible for those summer month programs.
Perfect.
And I think just on the flip side, for programs that align with the school year, for example, so that maybe are closed during the summer, they would be eligible to apply when they're open. And for the months that they are closed over the summer, they wouldn't receive payments, but the payments would resume for the full 9 months once they reopen for providing care.
Cool, perfect. And then let's see, do we know yet when the licensing incentive will launch?
The licensing incentive is open, so any provider that becomes licensed after we announce the licensing incentive bonus, so October 1st of 2021, is eligible to receive the bonus. So once they complete their licensing or CCAP qualified exempt process, they'll be referred to our vendor to receive that bonus payment.
Cool. And then we have, if a program goes through the rating around our fiscal year end, how will they get their leveling up bonus? So I think that's a QRIS. Stephanie, I might unmute you to have you clarify that, if that's all right. All right, Stephanie. Oh, it won't let me send an unmute request.
Contribute and then maybe have your QRIS team add in. So providers, the quality level at the time of application is what's ultimately determined for the stabilization grant formula amount, and the for the quality improvement bonus, it's the quality level that they were at on October 1st that determines the base for the increase.
Cool.
Hey, Charlie, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So I think maybe Stephanie was thinking, okay, well, our fiscal year ends in June and what happens if we're not, you know, but these funds will carry into the next fiscal year. So these bonus programs are available through 2023 at this point, that as, you know, as long as the funds are there. So, and we anticipate they will be.
Perfect. And Stephanie, feel free to email me if you need further clarification. And then last question here. So for programs only open in the summer, they will only get 3 months of payments then?
That's correct.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Okay. Cool. I think those were all of our questions, and we'll be sharing all the PowerPoints. I really like that flow chart. I think that's going to be very, very helpful for the community. So we appreciate you doing that. All righty, cool. Thank you. Next, we have Kristen Lang. Hi, Kristen. And let me make you the magic presenter. All right. There you go.
Okay. And you will have to tell me what you're seeing.
The connected to GoToWebinar tab.
Okay, so let me move this.
There it is.
There we go. Okay. All right, so just to confirm, you are now seeing the slide deck.
Yes, pretty,
right?
pretty bold colored flags.
Beautiful. Thank you for confirming. Hi, everyone. I wish I could say it's good to see you, but I can't see you, but it's good to know you're out there. And I am very happy to be back to provide some preschool development grant updates. I feel like it's been forever. So excited to share some new things with you all. Just as a reminder, my name is Kristen Lang. I'm the Program Access Manager for our Preschool Development Grant Unit at the Office of Early Childhood. And we will jump right in here. So in usual State TA Day fashion, we wanted to give an opportunity to let you know what's going on with our Small Business Development Center Childcare Business Training and Consultation Project. So that's what SBDC is standing for, if any of you are new to this. And this work is responsive to our Colorado Shines Brighter Strategy 5.1.2. So this year for 2022, we're excited to tell you that we're going to have at least 21 training series that are planned right now. Just as a reminder, the series typically run anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. And we do have one training you'll see that West Central created that's really specifically about cash flow, which is available ongoing on demand. But all of these trainings are live virtual, meaning that they are accessible through typically Zoom or Google Meets to providers all over the state. So what you're seeing here are a list of those small business development centers that are going to be doing training this year. But just a reminder that if you're not seeing a small business development center that covers your particular geographic region, that's okay. Your providers can attend any of these trainings. They're not limited to that SBDC's catchment area. We have a few who are trying some new things that might do a more limited pull, but the vast majority are going to be available to all providers throughout the state. You can find out about those upcoming trainings by visiting our PDG website on the Office of Early Childhood website. And there's a specific section called Training, Scholarships, and Grant Opportunities for Early Care and Education Professionals, where you'll find any new trainings listed. This is also hyperlinked on the ECC page of our OEC website. All of these links right now are hyperlinked in the presentation, so when we send it out, you'll be able to click through and quickly access those. So we have a lot of training for this year. Another really exciting thing to note is that we have several trainings that are going to be done in Spanish. We were able to offer, I think, 2 last year. We'll have at least 3, maybe 4 this year. So really excited for that. And then just a reminder that, you know, as part of the training process for providers, there's access to free consultation where they can meet one-on-one with a business expert to talk about their particular business needs. But that consultation is also available outside the training series. So if you have a provider who has a particular business need or question, and they're not able or interested to complete the training series, they can still access consultation from their local SBDC. So that hyperlink is going to take you to a page that will show you which SBDC to contact by county. And then it also on the final page of that document shows the supports for our other languages. So there are a number of SBDCs that can support Spanish-speaking providers. We also have coverage for French, and I think, let me check one more again. Yes, Chinese and Mandarin. So, or Mandarin is what it is covering. So French and Mandarin in addition to Spanish coverage. So if you have providers who have business needs and speak those languages, they can access consultation there. So in terms of what's coming up most immediately in terms of training for childcare providers on business, we have an Aurora South Metro Spanish language training for family childcare homes, or, you know, this can be licensed homes, it can be folks who are interested in becoming licensed, it can be license exempt providers. They are kicking off here next week. And the registration link is in there. I know they have at least 4 open slots in their class right now. So if you know any Spanish-speaking providers who need business support, definitely have them attend this training. And just to let you all know, as another reminder, we do have licensing staff that comes and presents information about the licensing rules related to that particular audience for people's awareness as well. So that's part of the course curriculum. We also have, this is one of those instances where a community is trying something kind of unique. As many of you have heard us say with Preschool Development Grant, we're all about innovation and trying new things and iterating. Those are our bingo words. So, but what Boulder found is that they knew they had a decent contingent of license exempt providers who are Spanish speaking primarily, who needed business support and really weren't accessing it through the traditional channels when they tried to promote the course last year. And so what they did this year is they worked with their early childhood council to really reach out to those folks that they knew of and try to create some direct connections and a sense of community. So they're having sort of a smaller training available to their license exempt folks, or they could be family childcare homes as well that are Spanish speaking for those particular individuals that they've made direct connections with. So that's one of those sort of innovative approaches to the business training. I do want to share with you all, we finally have some good longitudinal data on this program. So you all know it's a new program that we just launched through Preschool Development Grant, trying to build the early childhood knowledge of our Small Business Development Center network, helping our early childhood councils connect to small business development centers, and then utilizing those connections to really improve business practices for our childcare providers. And we started this work in the 4th quarter of the calendar year 2020. So we now have some longitudinal data, and what you're seeing here is that we've sort of broken up the providers who have completed a survey after taking the course, who we know are licensed because we can confirm their license number. So it's a subset of the participants. but those for sure we know are licensed, who completed the entire course. We broke them into cohorts to kind of track them over quarters. How many of them were still open 1 quarter after they finished, or 3 months after they finished, 6 months after they finished, 9 months after they finished, at least 12 months. And what we were really excited to see is that 100% of that subset, that confirmed licensed provider participant group, continue to operate after receiving or completing the business training. And what's most exciting is that's true even for cohort 1. So our folks who wrapped up in December of 2020, 100% of them are still operating, you know, close to at least 12 months later. So that's exciting news. Other good data that we have now after having so many trainings is really the increase in knowledge that the participants gain by taking part in the business training. So this shows you before the training how they rated their business knowledge skills, and after the training how they rated their business knowledge skills. So we're really excited to see the growth in their knowledge. We spoke with you all at the end of last year about some ways to continue improving upon the program. We also had one-on-one conversations with early childhood councils who were very involved with the local SBDCs in their communities and putting on the training, and wanted to share back with you a few exciting developments that are responsive to that feedback. So we did create a new document. It is a QRIS connection document. That's a shorthand, but basically what it is it's a document that shows you how completing the business training in consultation can help earn you points on our new QRIS, both for centers and for homes. So that was something ECC's elevated as important. We've shared that with our SBDCs, but certainly we would encourage you, as you're asking providers to take part in this opportunity, to share that connection document so they see how it benefits them. We are talking to OEDIT actually just tomorrow about the ability to share some participant information, because I know some early childhood councils said it'd be really helpful to be able to reach out to those folks, particularly who aren't licensed perhaps, who are interested in becoming licensed, and talk to them about what the councils can do to support them further. There was a concern noted about just the timing of the trainings. They're all in the evenings or weekends to accommodate providers as much as possible. But I do want to remind you all that they're recorded. We've asked all our SBDCs to make a recording available because we know that providers have a lot going on. So that continues to be an option this year. If someone has to miss a class, they can watch a recording. And then finally, we heard just that those ECCs that maybe don't have an SBDC in their area participating, more clarity on how they can be involved. So I want to jump on over to our reminders about just how ECCs can be involved in this project. So first, there's a shared drive with all the resources I just mentioned. And I wanted to just put that back on folks' radar in case it's been a while since you've been in there. But what some important things on this topic that are found in that shared drive include the guidance document. So this explains exactly how councils can support the SBDC project. We have GAE funding to support council time for this in 3 specific areas. The first, consulting with SBDCs on the development of the child care business training curriculum. That is something that council's likely to do when the SBDC in their area is putting on the training, and we ask that folks seek prior approval so we can just track anticipated expenses for that. The second is attending and providing TA on childcare and early education topics to SBDCs during the training session. Again, we ask for prior approval for that, but this is one where if you're an ECC and you want your staff member just to understand what's being talked about in this business training, we would encourage you to utilize this line to have one of your staff members attend an existing training. And we're just going to, again, ask for prior approval so that we can track those expenses. And then finally, there's providing miscellaneous technical assistance. That has taken a lot of forms, but again, that's probably more specific to those ECCs whose local SBDCs are putting on the business training. And finally, I just linked the invoice form there again for you all. So just encouragement again, if you haven't had an opportunity to have a staff member attend the training, to do so. The next topic I want to talk with you all about is the ECC Shared Measures. So hopefully you all are aware that ECLA's Data and Evaluation Subcommittee, councils, and the Office of Early Childhood have been working for more than a year to develop a set of shared measures to show the statewide impact of councils. And this work has been done pursuant to Colorado Shines Brighter Strategy 1.2.4. I know we've had a lot of communication about this, so I'm going to keep it to just a few updates and reminders. If you haven't heard yet, we have changed the deadline for the first reporting to February 28th. It's expected all councils will do this first reporting, and we're in a pilot phase. So we are piloting everything. We're making tweaks as we go along. We're learning as we go along. So it's not supposed to be a stressful thing, but we also realized we were not as done as we thought we were, so we've changed that deadline to February 28th. The shared measures guide is linked here. This is updated regularly. Based on feedback we're getting live from councils, we're adding new things to make it clearer and clearer and clearer exactly what you should do with each of those particular measures. We also have this sign-up sheet for access to PDIS reports that relate to this. We have several councils that don't have anyone identified to access these PDIS reports. So it'll be really important for you to go in and find your council and make sure you have that person identified and their PDIS username in there. And just a reminder that we have office hours on this project every Tuesday from 3 to 3:45 p.m. And the we here is the Office of Early Childhood and the ECLA Data and Evaluation Subcommittee. So hopefully you all are on that invitation, but if you're not, please reach out to me or Megan Locktuff so we can get your questions answered. Other new resources I'm going to have to speed through. Through the Quality Nutrition Work Group, we have finalized a CACFP center brochure so centers understand who's eligible for CACFP, the Child and Adult Care Food Program, how to put it in an application, how it benefits them and the families and children they serve. That's available in Spanish and Arabic, and it's a good accompaniment to the Family Child Care Home brochure. We also have the CACFP GIS map where you can look at your own community and how they're doing in terms of access to CACFP. So the latter two are reminders of products we've put out before, but the center brochure is a new one. So just wanted to kind of remind you of all the suites of resources that you can provide to support providers in connecting to this really important program. The next is about the Coordinated Application Eligibility and Enrollment Work Group. This was a multidisciplinary work group that met for 12 meetings over 18 hours and really dug into what would a fully coordinated application eligibility enrollment system look like in Colorado. What should it look like for programs like CCAP, UPK, CPP, Head Start, etc. So we had great council involvement in that work group. We produced some final recommendations. We're excited to see many of our recommendations in the final UPK report, but we have recommendations that go beyond that and get really into the nitty-gritty of what the system could look like in Colorado. So encourage you to look at that if you haven't had a chance. And then final two quick updates. We did update the strategic plan for PDG. It's not a static thing, and so we have been updating it every year, and 2022 was no exception. So take a look at the new strategic plan. And finally, we have a PDG B5 strategy tracker that will tell you exactly what's been going on in PDG, everything accomplished last year, what's planned for next year. You all know there are dozens of strategies, and it's just a good refresher of all the things that are happening under PDG. So I know I'm at my time. I will stop there. I'll take a minute to see if there are any questions in the chat, but I'll let the next presenter go.
Thank you, Kristen. Yeah, so take a peek in the chat. Didn't see any questions that weren't answered. And again, we'll be sharing out these links and everything. It looks like you guys have been working really hard on these resources, so we appreciate you.
Thank you, and thank you, Angela, for handling a lot of those links. Appreciate it. All right, bye, everyone.
All right, Emily, you are up.
Okay, I'm working on it. Hi, everybody. Can you see me okay? Okay, there I am, giant.
There you are.
It's great to see you all. I don't have anything to present. I just wanted to give you a quick update on where we are with E&E. I also am wanting to introduce myself. A lot of you know me and some of you don't. So my name is Emily Wingrovius. I was brought on temporarily and part-time to support the QRIS team in their work. And so I used to be a QRIS coordinator, and so I'm very familiar with councils and the work that they do. And so what I'm focusing on right now is the E&E grant applications that are still under review. And so one of the things, well, I'm gonna ask of you several things, but one of the things that I want to bring to your attention is that we have about $7.6 million in applications and only about $4 million remaining in the fund. So what I want to ask of you is to kind of till the field for us that or understand that some of these applications will not be fully funded. They can be, and we have to figure out basically how to find $3.2 million in the applications. I know Karen sent an email out last week or earlier this week about an extension of the funding past June 30th, and it was a hard no. So we really have to make sure that everything is purchased and complete by June 30th. One of the questions I want to ask of you is, and I'm reviewing a lot of these applications, I'm seeing bids, like there are not enough bids for these capital expenditures and things like that. So if there's somebody that is really important to you or that's like really high on your list that we review, especially if it's if it's any dollar amount, one, please review the documents to make sure it's complete and that and accurate. And two, if with that partial funding award, if it is partial funding, would they be willing to proceed, especially if it's a capital type request? So I think those are the big asks I have of you. If you have an application that has a capital request, includes a capital request and the construction has not started, one of the things what I want you all to ask your folks to look at is, are there two bids? Is there really time to complete the construction? It has to be ready to be open and licensable by June 30th, 2022. I recognize that you all have been waiting a while for these to be reviewed and determined eligible or not, and it's almost February. So realistically speaking, is that something that can happen? And then three is with some of these capital requests, if it can't be completed timely, like before June 30th, is the capital request the linchpin to being able to emerge or expand? So I think the real question there is, if it's the linchpin and the construction won't be completed before June 30th, then let us know so we can withdraw their application because they wouldn't be eligible at that point, or I can mark that program as ineligible. So that's really the big updates I have for you right now. I also want you all to be sure to ask any questions that you have, or let me know what you would like to see in this update next month, because I want to make sure it provides the information that you need to do this work. And I just want to also thank you for your patience as I learn this program specifically, and as I reach out to to you for more information so we can get through these. The other good news is when I started, we had 124 outstanding applications, and now we're down to 107. So I'm really hoping that we can kind of get through these last applications as efficiently as possible. So thank you.
Awesome. Emily, one question / request would be if we could send an email from the OEC to the providers still left with applications, so providers can hear from the state, and then councils can support those open applications or the ones that haven't been marked eligible.
So what would you like in that email? I think that's a great idea, and I'd be happy to reach out. So are the bids required?
Rachel, I unmuted you if you wanted to chat.
Yeah. And hi, Stacy, I see your comment. And while we're waiting for Rachel, Angie asked, are bids required if the provider is paying for the work and being reimbursed? Yes, so that's one of the things that we've run into. I actually just sent an email regarding if the work's already been done and completed and they're expecting reimbursement, if it is a capital request, we still need to see those 2 bids. And this is really about protecting actually the provider and the council to make sure that those providing that completed the work are bonded, insured, and if appropriate, licensed. So I have been following
Here on that one, Emily.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so for those programs who are asking for reimbursement and they have the work already completed, we aren't looking for bids for their capital projects because those happened before their grant application. So as long as they have documentation of, the project and that the payment, then we can still reimburse for those.
Okay, so see, I'm learning all the time. So for those of you that got that email from me, politely ignore me, and thank you for your grace.
And to piggyback off that, do those bidders need to show proof of insurance and being licensed?
So this would follow the same requirements that are used for any capital grants that your providers use using regular QI funds. So cool. This is really to protect the provider and in the work that's being done. And if it's like electrician, yeah, I would hope they're.
Rachel, I think you are unmuted. Are you able to talk?
I'm wondering if you can hear me now.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you all. You know that muting is not my thing. First of all, thank you, Emily, for coming in and getting after it. I can totally understand, picking up and getting going, and we really appreciate that. I think, and I had written a comment about it would be invaluable to providers, and also I will speak on behalf of the council, for the communication to come from you all about what you just explained to us, that this is the position, this is how many dollars there are more funds being asked for than dollars, and this is where we're at. I personally feel it's important it comes for you, as we at the council are supporting what you've given us, therefore supporting the provider. And I think oftentimes individuals out in the field and or at the council are really getting the brunt of it, and people being really frustrated about not understanding why it is the way it is. And we're doing our best to explain that, and it would be really great if you could explain that to the providers, level 1, and we'll come in with level 2.
That makes sense. So let me talk with my team and get back to you all on that. And I can also tell you, for example, when I'm thinking about programs that receive reduced amounts. So if for example, there's a family child care home that changes their license to 3 under 2, and asks for $50,000. So really it's increasing the infant toddler care by one slot. Potentially that's not necessarily going to be funded at that amount because of the number of slots that would increase. So there's a lot of factors that go into these, but I'm just trying to give you all an example of like why something may not be fully funded. And I hope that makes sense to you. And by the way, all the love out to family child care homes. So this isn't about, it's more about the really like, what is the impact of this grant or potential impact?
And thank you. We really appreciate it. And during this time, the more communication, the better, would support us and support the understanding of our community members. So thank you.
Sure.
Awesome. All right, Emily, I gotta cut you off. Thank you so much. We know how to get in touch with you, and yeah, we appreciate you jumping in and helping out with this.
I'm trying. So thanks, Grace, and it's good to see you all again.
All right, I'm gonna hand it over to Becky Edwards with Healthy Childcare Colorado, who's gonna give us some updates.
Okay, I'm trying to see. Can you
We
see
see the
my
penguins.
presentation? You
We
see
see the
penguins?
penguins.
Okay. I'm not sure how to share the other screen here. Hang on.
It always.
See if I move this down, maybe.
There it is.
No, it's not going to let me do it that way. All right, we're going to do it this way. All right. Well, thank you. Thanks, Charlie. And thank you, everybody, for inviting me to share today. I just wanted to talk about a couple of quality initiatives that we have in our program to support health and wellness with the children, and to support all of you with quality programming and quality health initiatives. So the first one I want to share today is we have a brand new oral health self-assessment that we have created. And February, which is, believe it or not, next week already, is Oral Health Month. And so we wanted to share this with everybody and hope that it's a tool that you will use and help the children in your program with better oral health outcomes. We're finding a lot of parents right now are not taking their children to the dentist except for emergency treatment. Some studies have shown about 67% of families are not going to the dentist right now unless it's an emergency. So 2/3 of our children are not getting good oral health support. So we have created this oral health self-assessment and action plan is something that you can use in your program to help see what you're doing well in oral health supports for children and what you can do to improve these outcomes. So the self-assessment is based on our training, which is called Cavity Free Kids. This is a training that we offer for free, so we can come to your program, and sometimes we have it statewide. We can offer it in person and virtually to really help you embed some things in your curriculum that will help children with their oral health. And in that, they have 5 basics of oral health that we teach, which are baby teeth are important, water for thirst, tooth healthy foods, brush, floss, swish, and going to the dentist. So we looked at this curriculum and some other tools that are out there to create a Colorado specific tool. So the assessment has 4 main topic areas: the commitment to oral health, education and training, learning activities and environment, and communication and resources. And programs can assess themselves in each one of these different topic areas. The assessment tool is pretty straightforward. We made it to align with other tools that we have in the state to make it easy for you. And you will go through, assess each area on whether you're progressing oral health friendly or an oral health advocate, and take notes in each area. And on each, let me go back. There we go. On each topic, you'll see hyperlinks to different tools and resources for you that you can use to make it easier to achieve that oral health friendly and oral health advocate status. And when you complete each section, then you can do your action plan. And this action plan, you can take these and put it into your QIP so that you have a quality improvement plan, and you can include some of these health and safety practices in your quality improvement plan. And we're really excited and really thankful to Colorado Shines with the new indicators, because you can use this tool as part of indicator 3.3, which is engaging in continuous quality improvement in one or more strategic areas. And one of them is health promotion. So this tool can actually be used as part of this indicator, and you can share the tool and the actions that you're taking as evidence when you're going through your Colorado Shines rating process. So we're really excited about that and thankful to be able to see all these new things in the Colorado Shines around health for children. So we just want to encourage people to go to our oral health page and take a look at this tool, as well as some of our trainings and other things that we offer, such as Healthy Smiles Champions to work with programs, our Healthy Smiles Summits, and other activities that will help you improve oral health outcomes for children, especially right now when kids are not getting to the dentist. Our other area of focus is our breastfeeding friendly childcare recognition, and I just wanted to cover this quickly with everybody. We are the statewide recognition for breastfeeding friendly. We want to help programs increase the knowledge and implementing breastfeeding friendly practices in your programs and help you get established with this. Again, we have evidence documents that are aligned with the Colorado's breastfeeding friendly toolkit. And we made it so the evidence requirements are very clear. And you can use this tool again as another self-assessment tool for your program to see how you're doing, and use it to inform your action plan and quality improvement plans. So right now in Colorado, we have 81 programs that are recognized as breastfeeding friendly, 49 centers, 9 home providers, and 7 family friend and neighbor providers. If you are recognized by your county or health department agency, you can receive state recognition. All you have to do is submit your copy of your certification from your county, and we will issue you a state certification, a certificate like the one you see here on the screen. So you will also have that state recognition. So I want to encourage programs to get those certificates into us so that we can give you that recognition as well. And again, just another big thank you to Colorado Shines team, because now indicator 5.2 on child health, you can receive points for being breastfeeding friendly and having that recognition. So right now, 81 programs, it's a pretty good number, but we want to see that grow, and we want to just encourage you to apply for breastfeeding friendly recognition. We also have advisors that we can assign to work with you to receive that recognition, to identify a space, and help you become breastfeeding recognized. We also have champions for our Healthy Smiles champions to help you with the oral health as well. So I want to just encourage everybody to take a look at these tools. I am going to be sharing these slides, and there's links here for the breastfeeding page on our website, as well as our oral health page. So you can go in and take a look at the different programs we have, look at the application for being breastfeeding friendly, and look at some of the different trainings we offer. So I just want to encourage that. Hope that you'll take a look at it and help us improve health outcomes for all of Colorado's kiddos. So again, I just want to thank you for your time. Here we have the links to our main webpage and my email address. So if you have any questions, if you're interested in becoming an advisor or Healthy Smiles champion, or just want more information on what I shared today, please feel free to email me at any time. And I'd be more than happy to work with you and your program. So thank you again. Thank you for your time this afternoon to share this information, and just want to see if there's any questions.
Thanks, Becky. Just a quick question. Do you happen to have someone Do you know who can provide medication administration in Spanish and in person?
So that I will have to check with our child care health consultant coordinator, Teresa. So I will get that information, Charlie, and I'll have her connect with you.
Okay, perfect. And yeah, Sherry, if you want to just reach out to Becky and she can help connect to Teresa, who is an awesome person as well. All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Becky. We appreciate you jumping on here.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, moving right along. I am going to hand it over to Karen. She's going to give us a Colorado Shines update. And I don't know if you're talking, Karen, but we can't hear you if you are.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Let me get that. All right. Well, thanks you guys for being here today. So we've had some, I wanted to give everybody a bit of an update on where we are with rating, just due to, increased COVID, this Omicron, I think I'm pronouncing that probably wrong, but variant has caused some issues for us. So back in July, when we said we were going back out into the communities for ratings, of course, 6 months, we thought we were in the clear. But we have come across a few situations, and I just wanted to share kind of what we're doing with that. So, observations update. We only had 10 programs scheduled in January, which was probably good. With those, we've had more than 60% with outbreaks, and they were concerned about, visits. Our assessors were concerned about being exposed. So we've been just kind of keeping real close tabs on where everybody is, and we've had to make a few adjustments. So we've been contacting programs each week to kind of assess whether or not it's safe to come into their program or whether they're comfortable, basically. And we have come to the conclusion that, we're at the end of January already. We've got 3 days left. We have done observations. I do want to let you know that. But we will not get to all of the January observations in the month of January. So they will stretch into February or March. It will not impact any of their uploads or any of that. It's just going to mean that their finalized ratings won't get released until all of those observations get completed. So there's no need for programs who are in January that got moved to February or something that they'd have to re-upload things or start over in any way or shape or form. So I just wanted to let you know, basically just on the observation piece, we're just stretching that a bit. We are still visiting. They'll still be scheduled. Oh yeah. So in order to kind of mitigate risk, we are making contact with the provider to say, hey, I'm thinking about coming on Wednesday. Will that work for you? Or do you have an exposure or that sort of thing? So we're getting real specific with when the visits will happen, just so that we aren't walking into a situation of which they have just realized a center-wide exposure and that sort of thing. So just for safety reasons. But we, and then just that other bullet that we are continuing to do ratings. So the good news is we are out there. We had about a week and a half, which we couldn't really get to any of them. But now that, thankfully, because we have a smaller number, we'll be able to push into February and hopefully not too much further beyond to do those observations. We've had quite a few questions. Why not just pause? Why not just say we're not going to do it? And there's a couple of reasons that we're, just reconciling through, and a couple of those relate specifically to our stimulus grants, and programs want to get into a rating to possibly get higher stimulus amounts. And we do have the incentive bonuses that folks want to qualify for. So that is a good reason for us not to just say we're not going to do them. And we have programs that are prepared and ready to go, and they want to move forward. So again, we just didn't want the option. We didn't want to be in a situation where we completely shut things down. So the other thing is we've been doing some contingency planning just to think about, okay, well, what happens if we are in a situation where it's dire, if you will, and we can't move forward? So we are working on, we're just watching things across the state. Fortunately, we are seeing occurrence of COVID rates go down in most communities across the state and in other states. So we're kind of holding out hope that that will continue. We are just looking at what other options we might have, and we will continue to stretch windows as we need to and schedule, times to go into programs so that they, know when we're coming and we know that they're a safe place to visit. And we actually, in that January group, we had a couple too that had to close for like a week. So all those are good things for us to know and not just show up and not be able to get in. So basically, we also will just keep you guys informed if anything changes beyond this, kind of stretching process. But if we get into another really significant situation where we're just not able to go, we will look at these other possible contingencies, which might mean an option to return to virtual rating. Again, these are not planned for at this point. So there would have to be a planning process to be able to do that. There's also, the potential of fully suspending for a period of time. We're hoping that we will not have to do that. But we just have to have, these contingencies kind of in our back pocket to address some of the challenges that we continue to see. So then the other thing I wanted to chat with you guys about today, just so everybody has the same information. Some of you have done this before and you're familiar with the process, and some of you may have not. So we've had a number of requests for rating extensions. And so we just kind of wanted to level set the process with everybody. And these are only for level 3 through 5 ratings. So level 2 extensions are not part of the process. So in fact, we aren't doing level 2 extensions. So program needs to request a rating extension through their early childhood council. The early childhood council needs to review the request, and if they support that request, actually send a letter of support to the QRIS coordinator, to the help desk, whatever, for review. The letter from the ECC needs to include the detail of the hardship that the program is experiencing, the requested time extension, and extensions are only able to be up to 6 months, assurance that the program has an active MOU and that the ECC has a support plan in place through the extension. And basically all that means, we're not asking you to do some big support plan thing. It's just that they are following through with you on their, what the coaches are asking for, what, they need to help them kind of move past their hardship. So what we do on our end when we're looking at these, we're, making sure that the request is not longer for a 6-month time period. If the program is already expired, maybe they expired 3 months ago and they're asking for an extension, we would only be willing, given the situation, to extend them for that 3 months. So it would be 6 months past their original expiration date. And there have been a handful of exceptions that we've considered the hardship or the CCAP status on. So just, work with your coordinator on that particular thing. Usually we come together as a whole group and we review each one of these. We also consult with our licensing team before we make the final decisions.
Karen, real quick, can you give the definition of a hardship?
Well, every center is going to be in a different situation. So, examples of hardships that we've seen are like the director, is no longer there. So they don't have a director, they just left, or they, somebody's lead teacher is, they have 3 lead teacher openings or something like that. So I'm trying to think if you have better examples. We've seen a lot of different things, but basically, we know we're in a staffing crisis. We know that we've got situations like that. Things like, hey, my lead teacher's on vacation. That's not considered a hardship. So, but it's where the program really can't move forward because of whatever is happening, and it may be staffing. So just keep in mind that you're working with them, what the situations are. Does that help? I know it's really vague, but it's because
Yes.
all the situations are quite different. So okay, thanks. We are asking you, please, please, please have the program request the extension before they are scheduled into the rating month. So just so you guys know, we've been sending emails out to all the programs saying, we have openings in this month, this month, and this month. Tell us what is your first, second, and third choice. They tell us what month they want to be in. And we have had a number of programs reach out to us in their rating window and say, I need an extension. I want to be, moved out. After they've committed to that, we can't put anybody else in that slot. And it's just a really difficult process on the technical side to remove them. So we're really encouraging, if you think you've got one coming up, and just to encourage them to do it prior to committing to their rating schedule. They can't be an adverse. Of course, that's just a normal cycle of the L3 through 5 process. The data system actually locks them out if they go into adverse licensing. So they must be working with, same as the last slide, they need to be working with you guys, have active MOU engagement for you to propose an extension for them. And also, just an FYI, so last year we were in kind of COVID land, last 2 years, gosh, and we were just telling people, hey, just submit your application, it'll hold your rating in place. So and basically what it ended up was we had this data system full of applications, and then when we reach out to them, they didn't want to go through the rating process. So what we will do when an extension is approved is we will reverse their application out of QRIS. So they will need to reapply when they're ready, and they will need to be scheduled prior to their expiration date to prevent a drop in their rating level. So that's just a technical piece of it. Let's see if I have anything. That was the end. So I just realized I'm not on camera. So did you guys have any questions about that stuff that you wanted to kind of clarify? And certainly you can reach out to us. We can chat through your particular situation. But what we don't want to see is that the provider emails you and says, hey, I want a rating extension, and you forward the email to us and say, can we give them an extension? We just want you guys to take the time to review that, all the options that that provider has, and that they truly do need that extension. And in most cases they do. So.
And Karen, there are a couple more questions in the chat, but is it okay if I give it to Angela since we only have a couple, like 5 more minutes here?
Absolutely. We'll circle back around with you guys on those and get your questions answered.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right, Angela, I'm going to hand it over to you for your workforce updates.
Thanks, Charlie. And I'm actually not going to show slides today. Can you hear me, just to confirm?
Yes. Yep.
Perfect. Yeah, since we've only got a couple minutes, I picked the top couple of options just to share today, since I just recently did a hot topics call for everybody. But I did want to note that just in general, if you have any workforce related stimulus questions, you can definitely shoot those my way. I actually, if you all have been communicating with me lately, you'll see just a slight title change. When you hear back from me, I'm now our permanent recruitment and retention manager at the Office of Early Childhood. So switching off one of our grant teams onto a permanent team. But again, that's not going to change a lot of the work that I'm doing. I'll still be working on a few of my PDG projects, as well as working through a lot of our stimulus funding. So feel free to continue reaching out to me on those fronts. So just the 3 top updates that I had for you today is that the recruitment and retention sustainability grants are the same application that Grace was talking about earlier today for the sustainability grants. So just wanted to remind everybody that that application went live last week. It's all together in one package, and folks will just do those same attestations for the workforce funding that they're getting along with their sustainability grants. So just know that's the same process. So that's one of our workforce strategies that's already underway. A couple of questions that have come up recently on the free ECE 101 and 103 that I wanted to just share with everybody for the good of the whole is that anyone who registers for that, that's an in-state student, whether they're taking it in person or online, they won't have any fees on their account or tuition. So it's tuition and fees, and those folks will get an automatic free class. If they're an out-of-state student but they're working in the state, we will be launching the appeal process for that very soon, and it's literally like a 7-question form that they'll have to go through and then send like a quick email with a note from their director saying that they're working in the state. And then we're going to be working on a process for our maybe immigrant and refugee partners. So if they're coming in from and they're holding a visa, we'll have a process where they can also participate in the free ECE 101 and 103. So just wanted to share some of that, and that they do not have to be degree seeking. So we know that those can be some standalone classes that help someone become qualified. So they don't actually need to be going towards a certificate or a degree to qualify for the 101 and 103 for free. So just a couple of high notes there, since those were a few that have been frequent in my inbox. And then last but not least, just wanted to share with everybody that the CDA scholarship application is live. We'll have 3 application periods this year, but one thing that is new is that they're able to actually keep the application live the entire year. It's just we'll have 3 periods that they are looking over the applications, and those deadlines are February 18th, May 20th, and August 26th. So those are the 3 dates that are coming this year. So I will still send my slides to Charlie so you have all of this in written format, but those are the top 3 things that I wanted to share today, and we'll get that CDA application link out to you guys so you know that it's stable for the year, and you can start having programs and their staff start applying for the CDA scholarship this year. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat. Otherwise, I'll pass it back to Charlie.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Angela. And congratulations on not the new position necessarily, but we're so happy we get to keep you around permanently. We know how hard you work and all the amazing things you've done in your time here. So congratulations. And that's reflected in the chat too. And I'm not seeing any other workforce specific questions, but I will be sharing out your PowerPoint and your email and everything, so people can get in touch with you. And I think that does it for today. I know this was a very heavy information-packed session, so pay attention to those follow-up materials. I'll get a link to the recording sent out, hopefully by Monday at the latest. And we know this is a busy time, and we know that everybody is really scrambling and working their butts off, and we've had a lot of new things going on this month. So we really appreciate the hard work you're all doing and the collaboration, and please reach out to our team if you need anything. And I think that's it. Anyone have anything else? I go here. I'll have Howard say goodbye to everybody. All right, guys. Thanks for joining today. I hope everybody has a warm, nice afternoon, and have a great day. Say bye, Howard. He's covered in snow now.